The company party was supposed to be fun, a chance to unwind, celebrate the year, and forget about deadlines. But for me, it became the night I saw my marriage fall apart under disco lights and champagne smiles. My wife, Lisa, had been talking non-stop about the event all week, what she'd wear, who she'd meet, how she'd finally network properly. I didn't mind her ambition. In fact, I admired it. But when she walked out of our room in a short glittering dress I'd never seen before, when she said she borrowed from a friend, my gut twisted. She didn't look like my wife that night. She looked like someone desperate to impress. At first, everything seemed fine. People laughed, music played, and Lisa introduced me to her co-workers. But soon enough, I noticed how close she stood next to her boss, Mark, how her laughter stretched a little too long, how his hand occasionally brushed her arm, and how she didn't flinch. Every time I tried to talk to her, she brushed me off with, "Relax, babe, it's just work fun." But when I saw her touch his tie, lean in close, and whisper something that made him grin like he'd already won, something inside me snapped, quietly, not in rage, but in resolve. Instead of confronting her there, I observed every smile, every gesture, every drink she accepted from him while pretending I wasn't standing 20 feet away. The people around us noticed, too, those side glances, awkward silences, pitying smiles. My wife was becoming the joke of the evening, and I was the fool standing by. I finished my drink, my mind colder than the ice melting in my glass. If she wanted attention, I'd give her the spotlight, but not in the way she imagined. When the clock hit midnight and the crowd began to thin, I walked up to her. She barely acknowledged me, too busy laughing at something Mark said. I smiled genuinely and said, "Hey, I'm heading out. You seem to be having a great time." She barely looked up, waved her hand dismissively, and said, "Go ahead. I'll catch a ride with the team." That was all I needed to hear. I nodded, slipped my wedding ring off, and left. But before I did, I grabbed a napkin, borrowed a pen from the bartender, and wrote a short note, one that would end her night and change your life. The note said, "Enjoy your ride home, Lisa. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. Check your phone if you want to see what everyone else saw tonight." You see, I'd quietly recorded her interactions that evening, not to humiliate her publicly, but to make sure she couldn't gaslight me later. A simple video, nothing edited, just her laughing, touching, and flirting with her boss while ignoring her husband's existence. I sent it to her as I stepped into my car, blocked her number, and drove to a hotel across town. The last image I saw before turning my phone off was her name lighting up my screen. Then another call, then another. I didn't sleep much that night, not because I was angry, but because I was oddly calm. Years of frustration, suspicion, and emotional exhaustion had drained out of me. I realized how long I'd been living with half a partner, someone who loved the attention of others more than the loyalty of one. I woke up at dawn, turned on my phone, and it nearly froze from the flood of notifications. 105 missed calls, dozens of texts, some pleading, some apologetic, and some full of panic. "Please come home. I made a mistake. Mark said it was harmless. I'm sorry. Please talk to me." Later that morning, my friend Daniel, who worked in the same company, called me. His voice was tense. "Dude, Lisa made a scene. Apparently, that video spread around the office. Someone must have screen recorded it before you deleted it." My heart sank. I hadn't intended to destroy her reputation, but maybe that was karma's way of speaking. Mark was suspended for unprofessional conduct, and Lisa was asked to take personal leave. I guess their networking had turned into a scandal overnight. When I finally met Lisa a week later, she looked nothing like the woman from that party. Her eyes were swollen, her voice shaky. "It was just harmless fun," she whispered. I looked at her, tired but composed. "You called it harmless when it was my heart you were toying with," I said. "But now that it's your reputation, it's suddenly serious." She broke down crying, saying she'd lost everything, her image, her job, her friends, and I just nodded quietly. "You wanted freedom, Lisa," I said. "You got it." She begged for another chance. "Promise therapy. Promise change." But there's something that happens when you watch someone you love disrespect you so easily. You stop feeling sorry for them. I handed her an envelope. Inside was a separation agreement already signed. Her tears fell onto the paper as she whispered, "So that's it." I nodded. "That's it," I said softly. "I'm done being the man you mock." Months passed. She tried to reach out a few more times, but I never replied. Eventually, I heard she'd moved away, started over alone. As for me, I found peace in silence. I didn't need revenge or public humiliation. She had done that to herself. All I needed was closure, because sometimes the calmest actions hurt the most. And for Lisa, that one note written in ink and truth was louder than any argument could ever.